Hi everybody, welcome back to another video. This one is my latest pickups video. Usually I have one every week just because I'm always looking on a weekly basis. However, last week I came up empty. So that's why there's been a gap since the last video. There was the 20th birthday anniversary of the Sega Dreamcast release. So I released that for September 9th. I know it's been a little bit, but unfortunately didn't really have much to share. However, this past week was a little better as far as the pickup side of things. So let's take a look to see. As far as, my standpoint when it comes to pickups, I try to focus on things where I'm going to get the biggest bang for my buck. And certainly as far as, I'd probably say I'm more of a budget gamer. Back in the days, I used to like pre-order games when they'd first come out and so forth. But the thing is that there's too many games where they come out and either they're not properly beta tested and so forth. So we end up serving as beta testers. And I don't think that's the way things are supposed to be. They're supposed to be ready to go right out of the box. You get what you get, and it should be good to go. However, there's too much, let's wait for a day one patch, and I think that's garbage. So one of the beautiful things about purchasing games, certainly retro games, is that certainly it's done. Whatever it's going to be done to it to make it at its optimum, it's going to be finished. So I do have respect for companies like Limited Run Games where the final version's released, all the DLC is in there. I think that's a great idea. I wish that's the way it should be once it gets released. And I do understand there's times when you do need to release a patch. Perhaps the online infrastructure requires there to be an update. But anyways, let's get back to pickups. So this pickup was one I picked up from a pre-played store that also has an arcade built in. And it is Taiko Drum Master. It was a great deal. Looking for it online usually runs for about like $15, $20, just disc only. I was going to pick it up for a few dollars. The disc was in great condition. Instead of being a DVD, it's one of those CD-based games that we saw on the PS2. So not really a big game. Finding the controllers will be a challenge. But we'll see. I imagine I'll be able to pick it up someday. But at least as far as the cost of just controllers only versus the game and controller, I've already probably saved half the cost just by picking this up. So I'll probably put it into a case, maybe print it off a sleeve unless I can find one at a swap meet and such, but at least be able to add it to collection. Because, Taiko Drum Machine, that was the first iteration we saw in the United States. It was on the PlayStation 2, of course. But we've seen additional ones come out over time. However, they've been primarily relegated to Japan. There's been versions for the handhelds like DS, 3DS. There was a PlayStation Vita version. The series is known as Taiko no Tetsujin. So definitely if you're looking to try to import it, you definitely can. The latest version actually came out on the PlayStation 4 and on the Switch. So you definitely can import it or through Amazon Japan or whatever other methods you have. Import game stores. It is a pretty penny. But definitely as far as if you're looking for something to get into where you're not going to have to break the bank like the current version, you can find this this game. Certainly, you can probably piece together for about $40. So that's what we have. All right, I went to another pawn shop, and their games were essentially $2 each for anything that was last gen or older. So I think I did pretty good with a few of my pickups that I was looking forward to. So, a few that I picked up. Let's see. One was Pirates of the Caribbean. So this game was kind of interesting. This was made by Bethesda. So they released Morrowind on the Xbox, which was kind of the definitive RPG for the system. Certainly as far as this game was supposed to be their pirate-based one, I guess Disney said, hey, we've got a movie that's tied in, release it. Now, a lot of people complained that it was a little bit buggy, it wasn't as smooth and polished as Morrowind was, but I figured for $2, I wanted to give it a try as far as the experience goes. I think it's one I had beforehand, before I got to playing it. I loaned it to a friend, and never got it back. So that's what happens. I always say if you're going to loan something out, just make sure that don't feel bad if, let's say, you never get it back. So $2, it's back. The disc was in great shape, and manuals included. It was actually from the same store. Actually, this wasn't a pawn shop. This was the same store that I got the Taiko Drum Master. I forgot about that. Another one I picked up was one that I kind of really ignored primarily because I thought, it's not going to be as good as other games, and that's Star Wars Obi-Wan. So I grew up with the original trilogy. Not that I hated the sequel trilogy of episodes 1, 2, and 3. I was just really concerned as far as a deluge of Star Wars of all coming out at once. I wasn't that big into Star Wars when it came out. I kind of, really ignored it. What really turned me on as far as it got interest in the Xbox, as far as from this style of gameplay, was Ninja Gaiden. And Ninja Gaiden, that was that's definitely a system seller. This wasn't really, but the thing is that with the Star Wars games, and there's an upcoming movie coming out, I figured why not give it a try. And for $2, it says $3. I think they just gave me a discount, made it $2. I figured why not give it a try something new and different. And then staying with the same Star Wars theme, picked up Episode 3. I believe I picked it up when I was at Mo GameCon. But I figured just in case, if there's an issue with the other disc, I haven't tried it out yet, but I figured why not? If not, I can turn around and probably trade it for something else I'm looking forward to. And then, let's see, 2 other games. They were $1 a piece. They were at the same store. And this one was Dance Factory. So, talking about rhythm games, similar to Dance Revolution. The difference, though, is that you can use your own music, and I always thought that was really interesting. I thought it'd be worth trying it out. I do have various dance pads. I thought, I'll throw in, maybe some, some other dance music I have laying around just to see what there is. I have no idea as far as what kind of tracks they have. One of the neat things about Dance Revolution, it's made by Konami, and Konami has so many game series that span, 10 and 20 years of gaming action when the series came out, that they had very neat remixes of games from, like, say, Castlevania and a bunch of other series. So it'll be interesting to see what music's packed in, and then seeing how it integrates music that I own on CD that I can throw in there. And then same sort of idea as far as music goes. This was Karaoke Revolution Presents American Idol. I could care less about the show. I had seen some episodes with my mom. It was okay to pass the time, sitting on the couch. But I enjoyed singing the songs. Similarly, the karaoke style games with my wife. And so I figured for $1, why not? Alright, so switching gears, I went to another pawn shop that I don't really frequent too much. It's a little bit out of the way per se. Their pickings are kind of slim for the most part. They don't have as many people coming in and out of their store. But their prices are pretty good, and every game was $2 a piece. I figured why not? So I picked up Mortal Kombat DC Universe on the Xbox 360. It was complete, I believe. Yes, it was complete. The disc was in good condition. I had picked it for PS3 recently. I figured to see how it compares to the 360 version. It was just $2. I figured, why not? Another game that I already have, but I figured, why not pick it up for a good deal? That was Red Dead Redemption for the Xbox 360. I think the trade value for it at GameStop is like $4 or $5. So definitely one that I probably won't be trading in. I'll probably try to trade it for something else with somebody, and then see what I can get. So, but for $2, at least, it gets me more. If I wanted to trade it for cash, I'll be able to get like $4 back from GameStop, so it actually make me some profit. So, that was it. Probably the biggest surprise, definitely for the price, was this game, the Simpsons game. So this was an EA game back when EA was making games for the Simpsons series. And I've not really seen this out in pawn shops. I think it probably sells for a pretty penny at GameStop and online and such. But for $2, figured give it a try. Sadly, it's not in the best condition. It looks like a dog got to it. There's a hole right here, a hole that goes through the cover art. But for $2, I'm not going to make a big fuss about it. So I'll take what I can get and move on. And then as far as 2 games, I was happy to pick up for the PSP. One was Star Ocean First Departure. So definitely it's one I already had, but definitely has some good value. So I was thinking about trading it for perhaps some other RPG if I go to a swap meet and such, just because I had the game already, and maybe I can go ahead and get something else that I don't have to add to the collection. So for a $2 investment, I think it was pretty good. And then there's Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, another one. For $2, definitely I think it was a good value and such. It's one I think I have already. I'll have to double check. And so it's unfortunate though. For PSP games, I think it's a great handheld. It's just a big pain to try to find cases this day and age. Certainly you can find auctions on eBay and such, where it's about $2 or $3 a case. But then you ask yourself, okay, if I'm paying $2 or $3 a case, I have a couple of loose ones. You're figuring you're adding that cost, the cost of the game. Would have been better just simply pay a couple bucks more and then get it with the case, the instructions, the manual. So that's why it's a really slippery slope. I don't really pick up too many PSP games unless it's usually complete. Unless the only exception I have is that if it's a really expensive game title, or one that I think I really can't turn around to get for something else, then I'll usually leave it off to the side, let someone else get it and such. So that's where it is. Alright, and then my usual pawn shop I usually hit up, I was able to go there and pick up a few games and also a few cases. So, I hate folks that come up with five-finger discounts, but when you're a regular and you see empty cases, let's say, hey, you go shopping at Goodwill or Salvation Army, and let's say you see an empty case for, game systems, say the PS2, and you say, hey, I'm kind of collect games, I was hoping to really buy this game, especially if you're buying another game, just asking, for the most part, I've had more times than not where they'd say, sure, go ahead and take it. And so I've got a few other cases like that that I'm hoping to pick up disc-only games to make it complete and, be on my merry way. So the cases I picked up were Power Rangers Dino Thunder. So I'm not really a Power Rangers fan. When Power Rangers series became popular in the U.S., I was kind of, older and such, but I've got kids, they like the Power Rangers reboot, they have all the shows, they like watching it, and so I figured it'd be neat for them to pick up a game and play it. I was really hoping to pick this up. Unfortunately, it was just a case. There's no manual, but at least it's a PS2 case. It cost me a grand total of $0, so why not? Another one I was hoping to pick up, unfortunately, was Red Dead Redemption. I'm sorry, Red Dead Revolver. So this was the original game. This was published by Capcom. So the folks that made it ended up getting acquired by the folks who released Grand Theft Auto, Take-Two, Rockstar. And so they took them over, and that's where we got on the Xbox 360 and PS3, Red Dead Redemption. So this was just simply a generic DVD case, but it had original cover art. So I already owned the game. However, if I decide maybe to swap cover arts with somebody, at least I've got something to swap with. It might be, hey, you need this, I need that, let's make a trade. So it cost me nothing. No, I did pick up a few games just because I'm a loyal patron. They cost me $2 a piece. Some games I have already, some games I don't. I figure I might trade some of them. Let's see, this was Lego Batman 3 for the PS3. I already have it already for, I think, for the 360 or for like the PS4 or Xbox One. It's for my son. He loves the Lego games, and so I figured for $2 I might pick it up and see, hey, if let's say something happens for the PS4 or Xbox One they play it on, they want to play the game, I've got a backup for them to play with. I've got several kids, it's multiplayer, it's 1 to 2 players. Definitely something that could be picked up and enjoyed. It's safe and wholesome for all ages. Let's see, another one. I remember this one when it came out. I was working at EB Games or GameStop, one or the other, and I think they had for a pre-order was actually a vinyl record of the soundtrack, and that was Starsky and Hutch. Now, the original TV show was a little bit before my time. I know I probably look old. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. But definitely, it looked like a neat game. We've not really seen anything past that generation, like an HD remake and so forth. So just to talk about it, so it's 18 episodes and 3 TV specials to explore 100 miles of Bay City streets. There's also light gun and steering wheel compatibility, and I've got a light gun for the original Xbox because I got it for House of the Dead 3, and I have a steering wheel just because, actually I'm not even sure I have a steering wheel for the Xbox, so I might not be able to try that out. But if I do pick one up, I'll definitely want to try it out. It looks like pretty neat graphics. It has, in the cover art, it looks like there's like cell shading. I'm not quite sure if in-game there's cell shading or not. It doesn't look like that's the case. But it looks like, a game with a lot of personality. Try something new and different. So for $2, I figured, I'll give it a shot. Let's see. So funny thing, I was in this pawn shop and I was hearing different kind of music. They had like 50s and 60s, 70s, 80s songs playing. I asked one of the associates, like, hey, like, do y'all play this music regularly? Like, there's different channels. We just choose a different channel. There's the same set of songs. It's licensed music. That's what the pawn shop has. And I tell you, when I asked that question, they were playing the theme song to Top Gun. Highway to the Danger Zone. And sure enough, they had Top Gun for the PS2. It looks like, as far as the graphics go, comparable to Ace Combat 4 that came out on the PS2. That was the first release they had on the PS2. So I figured it's worth giving it a try. I'm not sure as far as reviews. I think they were probably like 6 or 7 if I remember reading from prior game magazines. So not as high of a level as Ace Combat. But, for $2 and certainly using a film franchise, it'll be interesting to see how they integrate the film property into the game. If you're playing missions from the movies, if there's something that looks like Tom Cruise, I have no idea. So for $2, I'll give it a try. So one game I thought I'd give it a try. I remember scoffing at it back in the days when it came out because I thought, oh, this is just a clone of a Sega game. That's Big Mother Truckers. It was a THQ game produced by U-Technics. So they had done a few other racing games and such. So This game reminded me of 18-wheeler American Pro Trucker, which we saw on the Sega Naomi hardware, I believe. And then we also saw a Dreamcast port. I believe there was a PS2 version that had come out, and I believe a sequel as well. So this was like the biggest competition to it. There was competition to Sega back when, especially when they went third party, or back when the Dreamcast was out. So we saw a similar game to Crazy Taxi, which was a Simpson property. And there was actually a lawsuit about it. EA had the Simpsons property, and they released the Crazy Taxi clone. And so, 18-wheeler American Pro Trucker had its own clone competition. That was Big Mother Truckers. When I was a kid, there was a PC game called I think it was Big Rig. And it was kind of like it's almost a simulation game where essentially you chose what path you want to take, whether you want to deliver mail or deliver produce or regular packages. And if you did the produce, you had to be a lot faster to get from point A to point B. Bigger rewards, however, because you're going faster, you had to run the risk of perhaps getting speeding tickets and such. So I want to see, as far as a lot of the things you need to do in the game remind me, as far as, hey, you need to go to point A to point B. And so I want to see how much it reminds me of that childhood PC game of Big Rig. So, although not a clear-cut replacement, remember I talked about I had a few games that were stolen over time because of all the moves I've had being in the military. And one of those games was Devil May Cry 3. So this is the vanilla version that came out. Actually, like the Gray's Choice or Player's Choice, whatever Sony had for the PS2, actually had the additional content where you could play as Virgil. So I never did own this one because I had heard rumors that there was going to be a better version where you could play as Virgil. So I ended up holding off. I had Devil May Cry 1 and 2 for the PS2, enjoyed them both. I know a lot of people want to hate on Devil May Cry 2, but it was a great game in my humble opinion. And so, but when I heard that there was going to be a better version that had Virgil, and I thought to myself, I'll just wait for that one to come out. And that's when I played. That's when I beat. That's what's on my save card. But for $2, it was complete. This was in good condition, so I figured, why not? I know eventually I'll pick up the one that got stolen, but for $2, it's a good game to add to the collection. And I like to take a look to see whether or not those HD compilations that came out last gen of the Devil May Cry series, if they used the original Devil May Cry 3, or if they used the one that had Dante in it, the special edition. And last but not least was another racing game. This one's DT Racers. So I think I picked it up for like $2, and it's in pristine condition. Like, the manual looks like no one ever touched it. I'm not even sure if anyone actually played the game because it looked like it was just such great condition. It looks like a fun arcade kind of racer. And looking at the back graphics, it almost reminds me of like Outrun from the original Xbox series. So I thought to myself, gosh, I really loved Outrun. I'm not sure how closely it mimics Outrun. Oftentimes, this was released by XS Games, so a very small publisher at the time. I think developer was Axis Entertainment. I don't really know much about them. If you do, certainly leave a comment. I'd love to hear as far as what other things they've worked on. But I look forward to giving it a try to see how it plays out. Definitely there were a lot of games similar to this style back on the PS2. Certainly had like Ridge Racer. Certainly there was Outrun. So definitely DT Racer. I don't want to simply say, oh, it's probably crap because it was released on a by a small publisher. But sometimes these small publishers are willing to take risks to get more niche titles or games that may have been under the radar. This might be a really great game. So definitely look forward to giving it a try. A little bit more. I think I paid maybe like $4 or $5 for it, but I figured why not, especially this time of the year. That's Borlands, the Hamson Collection for the Xbox One. So the game was in great condition. This is actually a game that the pawnshop would usually play, just have it looping on a TV set and such on their Xbox One. And so I have it for the PS4. I haven't played it yet. I had played the original Borlands on the Xbox 360. It was one of the first co-op games I played with my wife. Actually, I think it was the first one I played for the 360 as far as a co-op game. We played a lot of Phantasy Star Online, the original Xbox, together. And so I got an Xbox One X. I have a plain old vanilla PlayStation 4. And so even though I have the PlayStation 4 version of this game, I really want to take advantage as far as the 4K patch. So unfortunately, typically for Xbox One games, you'll see in the top right-hand corner if there's some Xbox One X enhancements, 4K enhancements, or both. This game came out before Xbox One X had come out. And so that's why you don't see it on the cover art. It's sad because I'm sure they're probably releasing more of this. They could probably make a re-release, have a little bit of change as far as cover art, and simply sell it to those who may be curious. Because I'm certain that there's individuals who decide, okay, hey, If the PS4 and the Xbox One versions are both vanilla versions, there's no special enhancements. May I'll go with, you know, this system versus that system based upon price. But, you know, if you have a PS4 Pro, or if you don't, and you have an Xbox One X, but like a vanilla PS4 like me, go and pick up this one because you can download the 4K assets for free, and then you play the game in, you know, the best possible version of it on your home console. So that is almost it. That's all for games. I was able to pick up for $10. It's a 250 gigabyte external hard drive for the Xbox 360. I have a few spare Xbox 360s that this would work on, and I like to have extras just in case. Unfortunately, they didn't have the hard drive. It's just a built-in, I think, 4 gigabytes and such. I did have, you know, get some 20 gigabyte hard drives for like $2, $3 at GameStop. I was able to slide it in, so at least there's some storage where I want to put some games on it. But 20 gigabytes does not hold very much for last gen. Certainly, if you have more arcade games, those are smaller in size. But when you figure, you know, a large DVD game might be 6, 7 gigabytes, and you're only gonna have like 2 or 3 games. So, 250 gigabytes of space, peace of mind. And it's the standard enclosure, fits in nice and neat for $10. I figured, why not? Be able to put more games onto it, so that way if I want to play or the kids want to play, they can do so pretty easily. So, that's it for now. I'm not sure as far as I'll do any more hunting next week. We'll take a look to see. But thanks for stopping by. This is Kermit the Gaming Hermit, and I'll see you next time. Take care.